pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roll, Atlantic. Flight outside of speed off. Speed off.
Yikes.
You bet.
Okay. We don't need any more of these.
You know something, folks? I think it may be time for us to update our intro video there. I think we may have some better footage than we have at the end of that old pop. But welcome back to another episode of Texas Tank Watchers. I'll be one of your hosts, John Galloway. If you watch me on Twitch, you may know me as Das. And we are standing by for what hopes to be a nominal static fire of SN6 live from Boca Chica, Texas today. You can see there, SN6, the tall silver tower on the stand. It has a Raptor engine mounted up underneath it. We're hoping that SpaceX is going to start putting some fuel and oxygen into that thing, methane and oxygen, and light the candle for us. So this, of course, marching towards a hop campaign. They want to make this one fly just like the last one did, SN5, and they are going through all the tests that they need to do in order to make that a reality. But the NASA Spaceflight team today will be here live streaming the views from Boca Chica. Of course, we can do that because we've got Mary, Boca Chica gal, out there in South Texas. Last I checked with the weather, it said that the temperature was 93. It feels like 93 degrees Fahrenheit down there. Y'all can convert that for the other side of the pond. But it is a toasty day out there. I'm not sure. I think Mary is probably running 8 cameras like she normally does, but we may have her on comms a little bit better. But put some hearts into chat. Put some thanks over there for Mary, the original official Boca Chica gal who is bringing us these live views from the SN6 static fire down in South Texas. Also on the live stream today, we'll have Jack Beyer. Jack, how you doing today, dude?
I am ready to see this thing static fire. I am on the grain silo hype train. The hype train is sailing, and let's do this.
So tell me, which piece of Texas Tank Watching merchandise do you have on right now? I'm wearing a hoodie.
So I'm a slacker. I have my shirt. I just didn't put it on yet.
Oh my
gosh. It's like don't wear the shirt of the band that you're gonna go see the concert of, kind of thing.
Michael, can we mute Jack's mic until he has the proper uniform on for the stream today?
I think that's a good call.
All right, just go ahead and turn Jack's microphone off. And Jack, when you have proof that you have the right shirt on, we'll let you talk again, okay?
All right, deal.
Also on the stream, we'll have Michael Baylor. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and hopefully we will see some tank farm venting soon and get into the static fire testing schedule.
Yeah, all right. And so where we are in the status right now, we saw the hard roadblock is up. Mary confirmed that those barricades are in place. The disco party light car there sitting at the roadblock, not letting anybody go up. And we believe the pad is clear, right?
Yep, the pad is clear. We saw the SpaceX security vehicle escort the final few vehicles out, and that's usually the time we look for.
Alrighty, and so the next big thing that we're looking for here is what we call tank farm activity. Look, I don't just want to see one little puff or anything like that. I want to see some serious tank farm activity. I want to see condensation coming off the sides of the tanks. I want to see venting from all over the place. Usually the 3 black tanks in the dead middle of the screen down at the bottom there. Over on their right-hand side, perfect timing, but we'll stand by for that. Over on their right-hand side, that'll come back, stand by. We should get a little bit of venting. And that's like a modern art sort of thing. We'll watch it. We'll go ahead and troubleshoot that while we continue. But we're going to watch for that venting to continue and see what we can see from the static fire today. But looks like we had a modem hiccup here. They'll spool back up. We should get that video signal back in just a second. There we go. You can see there is a little bit of wind out there today. We've got some shaking going on. We do have the ambient audio turned down pretty low, maybe a couple bird chirps and stuff like that because of that, but we are troubleshooting an issue with some of the connections right now. But we'll watch and we'll see what we get here on the live stream. Again, we're the NASA Spaceflight team, and we are standing by for a static fire of SN6, Starship's SN6 prototype. Got some fuel tanks, got some engines, got some other support equipment there, and hopefully they can light that engine today. Also, hopefully we can get this other modem back online that just hiccuped. So, Jack, if you want to take it away and talk about the test campaign we're expecting this week, I will go and work on this.
Indeed. So, if you're joining in and you're wondering what the heck is going to happen with SN6, what's the difference between SN6 and SN5? Is SN6 going to do a 150 meter hop? Is it going to go any higher? Well, a lot of these questions we don't really have concrete answers to, but we do think that SN6 and SN5 are close siblings. Obviously, they're built one right after another. There's probably some minor differences between the two, but we do think that they're pretty close to copies of each other. I think one of the differences specifically that we do know between 5 and 6 is that 5 had a different, I guess it was a ring that looked different up near the top third of the vehicle, I think around the common bulkhead. And I think that was a different alloy steel. SN6 does not have that same discolored ring. So there are some minor differences between these vehicles. But what is SN6 going to do today? We are not expecting a flight of the vehicle today. We are expecting a static fire. And what is a static fire? It's basically you get some fuel in the tanks, you get the engine spun up and running for a few seconds, maybe 3 or 4 seconds, maybe 7 seconds, something like that, somewhere in there. And that will allow you, or allow SpaceX, to sort of diagnose, and look at the data from the engine and say, yes, the engine is performing as expected. The fuel tanks and the turbo pumps and the plumbing and everything all together is working as we expected, and we are ready to fly. So the static fire test is sort of it's like the final step before, at least the final step for vehicle checkouts before a flight. So we are expecting SN6 to do essentially the same flight as SN5, a 150 meter hop. We don't know that if they would be flying maybe like 200 meters, or I've seen some speculation either way. They might do something slightly different with this hop in particular in order to gather more data. But I think a safe bet right now, until we know more, is just saying it's going to do another 150 meter hop. I believe that's even been tweeted maybe by Elon, although I'm guessing at that point. And you may be noticing some intermittent hiccups in the image there. We are working some modem hiccups, no big deal. It'll be fine. That's why I'm covering for DOS right now.
Yeah, I'm on it, Jack. I'm listening to everything you're saying while I'm texting with Mary in the background as we try to get this other modem stable.
Yeah, if I wanted to be a jerk, I could say things like Kerbal Space Program isn't fun and Bluebirds aren't cool, but
I can still mute your mic. I'm not that busy. I can still turn you off, dude.
The anger in your voice was palpable. Oh, and before we get too far down the road, let's just thank Rough Riders. Rough Riders, you always are in here with the super chats. The super chats are key to making these streams happen. 60 frames a second, 1080p data out of Boca Chica on cellular modems is not cheap. So thank you, Rough Riders, for the $5 super chat. Everybody super chats. You guys make this possible. You are helping bring this to people around the world, and that is a true service, and we thank you for it. Don Chiralio, thank you for the CHF, the 50 CHF. What is that? I don't know what that is. Is that Czech? I forget. But thank you. And they say, thanks, Mary, which I think is a sentiment that we all concur with. Thanks, Mary.
Swiss franc.
Okay, thank you. I see C, and I assume it actually has something to do with the name of the country, but that's just me being a dumb American.
It probably means like chalet or something. That's a Swiss thing. Chalet.
There you go. Yeah, bam. Jirwa, thank you for the $5, and they say Boca Chica Gal Appreciation Fund. Thank you, and we sure appreciate Mary bringing us these views, juggling these mountains and mountains of equipment that we've saddled her with, and being absolutely chill about doing so. So thank you, Mary. Cool. So, like I said, we're expecting a static fire test. We're not expecting a flight. We are expecting, if the static fire goes well, a flight later this week, maybe early next week. There are some storms coming into the region, so we have to wait and kind of see how those tropical systems play out and how the static fire plays out. Let's see. An Aerojet Rocketdyne, thank you for the 5 currency units there. Say a new NSF Insta page just opened. Is it yours? I will say stay tuned. Things are in work.
Yeah, and Jack, I don't want to jinx it, but we are back up to full bandwidth, pushing 9,000 kilobits on all 4 modems. So just took a little bit of literally turning it off and turning it on again. I'm not even kidding you. do you think society will ever pass beyond a point where the solution for technical problems isn't turn it off and turn it on again?
No, okay, so dude, you are asking me a question that I'm like fully ready and capable to rant about for 30 minutes. So I'll try and keep it to like 2 minutes.
2
tops.
minutes.
And
Go.
my shortest answer possible is no, it's going to get worse, because if you look at how Apple in particular, and I like Apple products, but if you look at how Apple in particular is turning computers from computers as we know and love them, like a thing you can take parts out of and put parts back in, they're turning them more into appliances. And when it's an appliance and you as a user have no visibility into the device's inner workings itself, you can't take a part out and replace it, you can't repair it. I mean, and trust me, I like the way that Apple designs products. I like the oh my God, I'm blanking.
Yeah. Well, Jack, I miss the days when things were put together with screws.
Yeah, I do like screws and not glue. But my point is, yeah, I think it's going to get worse as you know, devices become more obscured. The inner workings of devices become more obscured. You have to turn it off and turn it on again. I mean, that's just like, it's frustrating. But you know, that's the crazy future we are accelerating rapidly into. Sometimes you just got to turn it off, turn it back on again. And
Yeah,
it happens to me with editing software. It's not just phones. It's not just like consumer devices. It's pro hardware too. You start up a cinema camera and it's just being weird, and you turn it off and turn it back on again.
And
you reseat the battery. You know, and it suddenly works like a charm. So it's just everything. It's just
Mary actually reseated the battery in 2 of the modems. That was part of the solution, was taking the battery out and reseating the battery. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh! Hugo Neusler.
What just happened?
Hopefully I'm pronouncing that umlaut in your last name right. Neusler. Thank you so much for the 54 euros. Holy cow, that's a lot of euros. And they say, thanks, Mary, for your insane time investment. That's really what it is. It's a absolute. I'm struggling to come up with the proper word for it. Heroic, Herculean devotion and time investment on Mary's part, and part of that is the fact that she's a local. She lives literally next door and is able to do that, and we are extremely thankful for her. Randy Wadenfield says Jack isn't as delirious as last time I was listening to him live. That's good. That's a good thing, because last time I hadn't slept. One of these days I'm going to have to go back and listen to that stream and just hear the insanity. But anyways, Starship SN6.
Jack, I'm checking in with Mary here. We actually have shade for the cameras here, trying to get the cameras not to overheat. And the shaking you're seeing is the wind hitting the shade that's trying to shade the camera. So I'm working with Mary on that shake. You can see it's nice and still, and then all of a sudden we get a gust of wind. That is something we are aware of. It's not like we've got this thing mounted on a piece of jelly or anything like that. And that is another thing we're looking at. Always monitoring stuff like that. So just wanted to toss that out there real quick.
Yep. We are 13 minutes into the stream, and we are just getting everything, all our ducks in a row, getting everything ready. You know, Texas tank watching. We got a little bit of time to make everything perfect and get everything just right. And you know, we don't really have to start sweating until we hear that 10-minute siren. Which, if you are new and uninitiated to the Texas tank watching crowd, there is before a test like this, the day before, Boca Chica residents like Mary will get a like a warning, like a hazard notice on their doors or in their mailboxes, and the hazard notice basically says there's going to be a space flight test event, and go outside because there might be an overpressure event that could break windows, and the safest thing to do is be outside in that situation, I suppose. So as part of that notice, that they say that they're going to do a siren warning 10 minutes before expected activities, and that there may be more than one siren. So even if we do hear the siren, doesn't necessarily mean something will happen 10 minutes later. It just means something might happen 10 minutes later. Probably will happen 10 minutes later. Of course, there's some sort of hold or whatnot, and of course we generally wouldn't know if there was a hold, other than just waiting out that 10-minute clock, sort of, and saying, well, something must have happened.
Yeah.
So
hey,
that
Jack.
Is basically.
Jack, really quickly, I've got to hop off comms. I'm going to be here supporting, but I'm not going to be on the microphone for just a little bit. And it looks like everything's good. Don't want to jinx it, but I will be off for a bit. So DOS here signing off for just a little bit, and I'll be back.
All right, knock on particle board. I'll
Mostly my head. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's me knocking on my own head. So
there you go.
All right, I'll be back. Enjoy the tank watching.
Well, I tell you what. So
Yep.
yeah. we're going to start looking for tank farm activity. We're going to hope the vehicle starts to
Yeah.
get fueled up. And what's up, Michael?
I said, yeah.
And then, once the vehicle has propellants loaded into it, it should be, some activity from the tank farm, some activity from the vehicle, and then we'll hear that siren, and then they'll do a static fire 10 minutes after the siren, and we will hopefully get some sort of confirmation from Elon or SpaceX on Twitter, but that's also not a given. Maybe like a day later or a couple hours later, static fire looked good, hop later this week or something like that. Hop next week. We'll see what they say.
Yeah. Right now, the hop is scheduled for, if we look at the road closures, August 28th. So the first 3 road closures on the list are for the static fire attempts. There's a primary date and then 2 backup dates for the static fire. And then for the hop, which is on the 28th as earliest, we have the first primary date on the 28th, followed by 2 backup attempts. And the windows for all this testing is from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Central daily. So that's what we're looking at right now. But of course, like all testing, these schedules are very fluid, so even if the static fire happens today, that does not necessarily mean that we're going to see a hop right on the 28th. It just all depends on how things go, how the data looks, and how all the data reviews look as they do a lot of analysis before they do a hop.
And probably, again, whatever happened with those tropical storms or the hurricanes or whatever those storms end up being.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be. I was going to say, it looks like it's going to be bad news for Louisiana right now for the latest forecasts, but good news for Boca Chica, so we'll see what happens. But I believe the latest forecast had 2 hurricanes making landfall in Louisiana 48 hours apart. So that is very bad news for Louisiana, but it does look like Boca Chica might not see any effects, at least not any direct effects.
Yeah, probably just some rain. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Let's see. Beer. Cool name, Beer. Beer in chat. Thanks for the €5. They ask, will SN6 get a mass sim on SN5? Was it on SN5 for static fire? Thanks, Mary, and NSF team. I think it was not on SN5 for the static fire. Is that correct, Michael?
Yep, they usually install it after the static fire.
So my question is, and this is just me, wondering. I don't have any little birdies or anything with this, and I don't, I'm just guessing here and wondering out loud. Do you think SN6 would get a mass simulator, like the nose cube, like on SN5, or do you think they might just throw a nose cone on it for just for funsies, or is that just wishful thinking on my part, Michael?
I mean, I don't think they're going to put a nose cone on this. I think SN8 will be the first one to get a nose cone based on what Elon said, but I think a mass simulator is almost certainly going to happen because the only way around a mass simulator is to put more propellant in the vehicle, and they want as little propellant in the vehicle as possible, so that if something goes wrong, there's less damage to the launch pad and whatnot. So I think we'll likely see a mass simulator, but you never know for sure. SpaceX certainly makes changes as things progress, so if they got a lot of confidence with SN5, maybe they will just put more propellant for SN6. I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, I would put my money on another mass simulator.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna look in panel here and see if I can find some question. Oh, Javier Alguin. I try to give everyone's last names the best go I can. They say NASASpaceflight, if they aren't going to put gimbals on Starship's vacuum Raptors, how are they supposed to interplanetarily steer precisely? I don't know. Thank you for the $10. First off, second off, I imagine they could use a certain amount of reaction control thrusters to handle vehicle orientation.
Well, they'll still have the sea level Raptors, which can gimbal, and those, while they're optimized for sea level usage, I think they will still probably use them to gimbal during the interplanetary burns.
Got it. That makes sense. NASA Spaceflight in chat, strapping young reporter named Chris B has written a new article. So check that out if you guys feel like it. It's SN6 preparing to fire up with Raptor SN29 overview article. So some good info in there. Take a glance at that. It's linked in the chat. So what are we expecting next? We are first off, audio volumes. Check, 1, 2. This is my volume. Michael, say something.
This is Michael's volume.
Hey chat, how's the audio volumes? You know the words I'm saying. How does it sound? We sound okay? Say something, Michael. Say something again.
This is a test. Jack,
Cool.
keep talking.
Checking. They say I need to be louder and you need to be lower, but
Okay.
so we'll work that. Thanks for the feedback, chat. They're saying it's good, both fine.
I made a
people are
minor
saying-
adjustment.
Okay, cool.
It should
All
be
right.
better now.
All right, hopefully it's better now. Let us know if it's not, guys. Kiwi Chris Morton, thank you for the $5 New Zealand dollars. Is it dollars in New Zealand? I think so. All right. E16, I can't even read all those numbers, asks, do you think there's ever any plans or ways for SpaceX to make the road private and not need to do closures? I think since Boca Chica Beach is a public beach, they would basically need to make their own road, which, the area around the site being a wildlife preserve, I don't know how plausible that a new road is. But that's me completely guessing. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Michael? Do you think they could ever make the road private? I don't think so. I think that's part of.
I don't think they're legally allowed to. I think from Texas law, that beach has to remain public, and it's like a state beach and whatnot. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a really interesting situation that SpaceX has, one, built their facility next to a public beach, next to a public road, and two, has gone all in on it in the way that they have. So it's just one of the kind of quirks of Boca Chica, and one of the things that makes it great is we do have these sorts of views and these sorts of access because of the public beach and because of the public road. And I sure hope that they don't ever make it private, or I hope there's no like Texas law or something for critical infrastructure, or something that would allow them to do that. But we'll see. Who knows what the future holds.
And again, if you have questions, just tag us in chat at NASASpaceflight. We have a queue that we're keeping track of. So if you have a good question, we'll put it into our queue, and then we'll try to answer as many as we can while we wait for testing to spool up. The first sign of testing activity, if you're just joining us and you haven't seen this before, we'll see a lot of condensation and venting from the tank farm as we progress. And then once the tank farm has spooled up, the next line will be the vehicle itself venting. So those are the two main indicators we're looking for. And usually the first signs of venting comes from behind those 3 black water tanks just to the bottom left of SN6. Behind that is the methane recondenser, and that is usually where the first signs of condensation come from. So keep an eye out from behind those 3 vertical water tanks in the foreground. That is where you want to be looking right now as we wait for stuff to happen.
I feel dumb because a lot of times when you're hosting these things and when you're talking and just trying to kind of fill air, you don't always think of everything. And where is it? Rocket Chaser in chat. Good point, Rocket Chaser. They say a private road would not solve the problem. The launch site would still be too close to the public road. Well, see, I was kind of thinking they would make that road public and then make a separate road to the beach, but I don't really know how they could do that. So yeah, I think you're right. I think ultimately, whatever the pad is right now is just too close to the road, and the road would have to be closed one way or the other. So that's a very, very, very good point, Rocket Chaser. And I lost it already. Somebody asked what we had for breakfast. I had toast with crunchy peanut butter, of course. I mean, do you know me?
I got out of bed and I've been preparing for the stream ever since, so I've not eaten yet.
Well, now I feel bad. Claire Saunders, thank you for the 5 curly L's. They say can't live without daily Boca Chica fix. Thank you, Mary. Thanks, Claire. And Kiwi Chris Morton, thanks for the New Zealand $5. They say, hey guys, what software do you stream with? And yes, New Zealand dollars, about 60 cents US. Oh, that's cool. What is it, Michael? It's OBS?
For streaming software? Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
OBS. I always just want to say OBS. Let's see. Louis Berthelon. Louis Berthelon. That's an interesting last name. They say, where the heck are they going to get all the Raptors needed for Super Heavy? They are only up to around SM35, and the Beast needs 31. Didn't Elon say they were testing 40, or they were about to test 40 the other day? SN40?
Yes, they're up to the Raptor 40.
And so they're about to test 40. So presumably they're in work building numbers after 40. So yeah, I mean, they are not they're not building them extremely rapidly at this point, but they're surely ramping up to a faster build cadence. And as they are under SN50, I think at some point, maybe it was an Elon tweet or something was said about up until about serial number 50, they're going to iterate on the engines a lot. So at some point, I think the design will sort of firm up and settle down, and they'll start cranking those engines out. But I don't think it's really too much of an issue right now that they are only on serial number 40. I just think as long as the engine is working well and not exploding, then they're on the right track. So I think Raptor is looking real good right now. If I was working on Raptor, I'd be feeling pretty happy, but what do I know?
Yep. And Robert Hobson, $50. Thank you so much. Robert is a big supporter of the stream.
Seriously. Thank you,
also
Bob Hobb.
Active member of our Discord community. Robert says, I noticed that the puns are getting worse in the daily Boca Chica videos. I do not approve. Boo, I say boo. Jack, how do you respond to this? Because you're the editor.
Well, I tend to not do puns. So right now we have 3 editors. We have myself, we have Brady Keniston, and we have Theo Ripper. And basically, whoever the editor is of the episode is the person who gets to inject a little bit of their personality into that episode. So Theo put some puns in, and they're creating some strong opinions. I personally tend to not do them because I like puns. They make me groan in like I'm like, oh God, I hate you, but that was good, but I hate you kind of way. And I'm also just not that great at them. So that's my response there. Just endure it, Robert. Endure it for now, and it won't be super punny every time, just depending on which editor is editing the episode. But thank you for the feedback, and and yeah, we'll keep it down a little bit. I'm sure you're like 99% joking. Let's see. Robert G asking what changes were made from SN5 to SN6. Now, we don't have a handy chart with from SpaceX with the blueprints and with all of the information, the differences between the two of them laid out. So we can't really say with authority what the differences between the two of them are. What we can say, though, is that SN6 surely incorporates lessons learned during the build of SN5, at least a few, to make its assembly process better and maybe even make it a better vehicle in various ways. And the one thing that I do know, just based on visually, and we were talking about this earlier, is that SN5 had a different alloy steel ring about, let's see, 1, 2, 3 or 4 rings down from the top around the location of that common bulkhead. And I believe that was, maybe they were doing some sort of test or they just needed to use that alloy there for whatever reason. So SN6 does not have that. SN6's steel rings are uniform. So whatever different ring they did in that location for SN5, they did not do for SN6. So that's not a very satisfying answer, but yeah, that's basically what we know. Is they seem to be mostly twins. There's surely differences between the two. I mean, there's an old I remember seeing it somewhere, I forget where, that no two Falcon 9s are exactly alike even. And you could have one Falcon 9 Block 5, and then the next Falcon 9 Block 5 off of the assembly line actually has differences to the previous one and the one after it, and that's common. So this vehicle surely is at least slightly different, but they are.
Doesn't it have the different landing legs? I know it's really hard to see under it, but I thought they might have. I thought Mary spotted newer landing legs. I could be wrong though. Someone in chat can correct me. I was under the impression though that it had the V1.1 legs, whereas SN5 had 1.0.
I think the confusion there is Mary did spot a set of the 1.1 legs on site. They were at the launch pad, but I believe that the SN6 has 1.0 legs. But I'm really not sure. I think it might have just been that we saw 1.1 and 1.0 legs delivered around the same time. I don't know that we know which legs are on 6. If Mary knows, Mary, if you know, let us know in chat or pop in. Yeah, Philip Whitehouse in chat, one of our members, and thank you, Philip, for the membership, saying we've seen the 1.1 landing legs. I have no idea if that's installed.
Yeah, so they could be, but we don't know.
Mary asking about weather in our Discord. I don't know if you want to take a look at that.
Yeah, I will give Mary a radar check.
Excellent. Cool. So, oh man, dude, I'm not gonna be able to say your name. I'm really sorry. Efok, thank you so much for the new membership. Welcome to PadRat, buddy. We hope you like all your perks. Members, if you guys are curious, we have a channel membership thing, and there's a join button right below the share button under the video there. If you join as a member, you get various perks depending on what level you join at. At some of the higher levels, there's like Discord access, and for some of the levels, I think it's like PadRat and above. There's like the YouTube previews daily. So the members are key. Red team above. Thank you. There's various perks. There's chat emojis, and we really, really, really appreciate all of our members doing what they do to support this channel. Seriously, awesome. And Dougal, another longtime, common, frequent supporter. Dougal says, I love the puns. Keep them coming. Oh, they didn't say that. They said, keep the puns coming on the daily video. Don't forget about Forklift Guy. Thanks, y'all, and especially Mary. See, here's the thing about Forklift Guy. To track labels onto things takes time, and we try to get the updates out as quickly as possible. So sometimes we have time to add little flourishes, and sometimes we don't. So just because a forklift person or forklift guy isn't labeled doesn't mean we don't love them or we've forgotten. It's just a matter of one of our things is we get a video out to you every single day, and we try to maintain that on a timely manner. And let's see. Thank you for the 20 currency units, Rasmus Mogensen. Ramus Mogensen. I'm there. I tried it. Thank you, though. We appreciate it. And JM Vars, thank you for the 50 currency units. They say, I don't have many monies, but here are 50 of them. Well, thank you, dude. And seriously, just to reiterate, as I'm still sort of on the topic of super chats and our members and whatnot, we do not ask that anybody contribute to this channel. We know that times are tough, and we know that everyone's struggling with all that's going on in the world right now. So don't ever feel like you have to support the channel. Please, your eyeballs, smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, that is supporting the channel a huge amount. Even just telling your friends, hey, this is a great Starship feed. We really, really appreciate that sort of support equally to the monetary support. So thank you for the 50 currency units, JM Vars, and please don't ever feel like you need to contribute more or you're not contributing enough. We appreciate you being here and watching with us. Seriously, thanks, man. And let's see, Rough Rider Show asking if the guy on the chair on the roll lift is a meme yet. If you missed that last stream of last testing stream, I guess it was a lift stream, not really a testing stream, but yeah, the the roll lift that they use to move starships to and from the production site. We saw one go by, and one of the operators of the roll lift was just riding it, sitting in a folding chair, like the ultimate gangster. So I don't think it's been a meme. I don't think it's been memed yet, but it should be. What? Okay, so Craig Knauer? How do you even say that? They say, so everyone's super chatting now, trying to get me to say their names. $5 super chat from Craig. Thank you, Craig. They say, my last super chat, you commented on the silent K in my name. Newsflash, the K is not silent. So Craig Knauer. Craig Tower? I don't know, dude. you gotta put it phonetically.
Yeah.
It's your fault,
So
not mine. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, sorry, Jack. I was gonna say quickly. It does look like there are some strong, if I can talk today, strong thunderstorms in the area, and I am currently working to make sure we're not going to get hit because all of our equipment is currently out in the open right now. So if it rains, that could be not ideal. So I'm going to step aside for a minute and look into that. But keep going, Jack.
Yep.
You can actually see on our camera, it's gotten a lot darker in the past few minutes, and the haze is going down.
Yikes. Well, I was going to say, well, SpaceX wouldn't static fire in a storm or when it's raining, right? But I've learned not to say things like that. So, so yeah, I mean, but obviously, if it starts to rain or if there's lightning anywhere in the area, we are going to have to take the stream down for safety of the gear and Mary. And Oliver Foggin in chat helping out with the last name. It's like Noura. See, that makes more sense. Noura. Craig Noura. There. There you go, Craig. Do you think, I guess I'm going to do the old scrub test. One of the things we can do with these tests, since it's kind of like watching paint dry, is we can kind of scrub back and forth on the video, go back 10 minutes, forward 10 minutes, back 10 minutes, back to live, that kind of thing. And sort of look. I'm trying to see if the vehicle looks like it's pressed. Meaning pressurized. I can't really tell. Yeah, and Paul Harris with the $5 super chat, or £5 super chat. They're saying, is SN6 already pressurized? No dents visible. I can't tell. I mean, I don't see any dents. That's correct. I'm trying to go back in time and see if there is a point where there are a lot of dents. I'm looking for a before image. Yeah, inconclusive. But thank you for the £5, Paul. And Lisbeth, thank you for the Pad Rat membership. Awesome. Yeah, I'll just run through the rest of these here real quick and get back to some
Wow,
questions. Rough Riders
Anthony.
show. Oh, I can't even. Anthony Collins with a 99 euro or 99 pounds sterling and 99 pence super chat. Thanks, guys. Such an awesome channel. Keep doing what you're doing and don't burn out. We've got a long ways to go. Well, with support like that, Anthony, I say that the I'm trying here. I'm trying to hold it together. The likelihood of us burning out is slim to none. And you may have noticed on the burnout topic, you may have noticed yesterday, Saturday, we normally have NASASpaceflight live, but oh my, dude, $99 or 99 euro pound. Oh my God, I can't even talk. Thank you, Anthony. We didn't do NASASpaceflight live yesterday because there's a lot going on in this week, and we are pacing ourselves. So that is why we didn't do NASASpaceflight yesterday. And we are not trying to burn out. We are just trying to reliably and consistently bring everybody the coverage that they want. So, I mean, thank you, dude. Anthony, thank you. I don't have an adequate way to express. It's $100. It's 100 currency units. It's 100 pounds. Like, that's so much money to me. I worked so hard to make that much money, and I know you. I'm sure you did too. So thank you for contributing, and thank you for helping to bring this to people around the world. You're doing a service, and I know for me it's a bright spot in dark times. It's a ray of sunshine in a cloudy sky, and I know it's like that for a lot of people. So super cool. All right, I'm gonna turn myself off and back on again. Do a little bit of a reset. Thank you, Anthony. You're awesome. Let's see. Dougal with a good question, asking, do you think that Pad 2 or Pad B for SN 7.1 will become permanent? Hang on, I'm trying to click this and it's not. So if you don't know, to the right of what we're looking at right now, slightly off frame, there is a second pad, basically. And there is that new test mount that we were seeing built is over there now. So it looks like it's just a full second pad. It might be used just for cryo testing. It doesn't look like a full launch pad, but yeah, there is a second pad, and we are calling it Pad B. Oh my God, it's a two. Oh my God. It's a $250 super chat, Eric. Eric Fontaine, you didn't even say anything. I have nothing to riff on. To thank, and I'm not yelling at you for it, but I don't even know what to say. That is so much money. We appreciate your support, and you are helping us. Michael, say something. I don't even know. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah,
There's no adequate way for me to express my thanks to you.
Yeah, I was offline reading what Joss was telling me in the back channel. We were still working some audio issues, but wow, I didn't even realize that happened because I admit I was like totally focused on something else. But Eric, that is super generous of you, and we will definitely be putting that to good use. All those super chats help support us, the team, and they help us invest in new equipment because, as you can imagine, the live streaming gear that is required to do it well, we're using professional grade broadcasting units, so it's not cheap, and we appreciate the support.
All right, I tweaked voice settings in Discord here. How do I check to turn auto gain off, sensitivity up a little bit? I turned auto sensitivity off, so hopefully that does a trick and I sound better now. A little bit less of variability.
Yeah, it looked like on my monitoring that your audio had a pretty large range to it. That's why I was struggling to get it correct, because it was sometimes quiet and then would change to super loud and then go back. But
yeah, that's my bad. Discord, I did an update to Discord, and I guess it fudged my settings a little bit. So I'm back to. Thanks.
cool. But wow, we have a lot of super chats to get through.
Okay, let's speed run them. Rough Rider Show. Again, thanks for the 199 with the roll lift question. Javier Alguin. Thanks for the $5. Orbital refuel testing in Earth orbit worries me. If they cause a RUD up there, isn't that just asking for Kessler syndrome? Thanks for saying my name right. Oh, no problem, Javier. I mean, hopefully they would do an orbital refueling test in an orbit where things would decay rapidly. That's the kind of thing where I would just have to give SpaceX the benefit of the doubt. They're a smart company. They have good intentions. They're not a malicious actor, and they have smart people that care working for them. So yeah, you might hear my cat screaming for food in the background. It's not breakfast time yet, kitty. So yeah, I don't know. I have to give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But good question, very good question. Chris Gress, thank you for the 10 pounds, and they say thanks for the t-shirt. AMDE, thank you for the €20. Oh, €20 not, I'm all jaded now because of the $250 super chats and things. But 20 euros is a lot of money too. Thank you, AMD. You're one of those people that frequently is a supporter of the channel. They say, trying to drop some money again. Thank you again for the commentary, the coverage, news articles, and also for giving us all of us space nerds a nice home. You got it. Thank you for making it. If it was just an empty cave, we wouldn't be here. Ace is down. Thank you so much for the $10. Hydration Fund and JLV. Thank you for the new member. All right. Now we've got that housekeeping done. Let's see. Kyle Denny asked, if SN8 is for the 20-kilometer hop, could SN9 be for the suborbital flight?
Jack, Jack, can you reconnect to Discord, please? You're cutting in and out. It might just be a Discord glitch.
Okay, stand by. Check, check, 1, 2. This is my voice. This isn't my voice. This is a test to see if my audio is intermittent or solid. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. How's it sound?
The interesting thing is it sounds fine to me, but people in chat are complaining, and they're hearing it off of our server, and I'm hearing it off of just normal Discord. So it might just be Discord freaking out. This has happened before. We'll see. Chat is saying better now.
Okay, but loud.
Better but loud. Okay.
I was kind of yelling. I'm all amped up now. I'm all amped up. We're gonna be hopping this thing.
I also have you at 200% from before, so I will slow you down slightly.
Okay. I'll try to remember that when I'm yelling in excitement when another super chat comes. Oh my God, $50 super chat. There we go. See, I'm trying not to yell. David Luchetti, David. It's like the cooler version of David. Thank you so much and again with Bob Hob, you just did this. $50. So we have 50 euros from David Luchetti. You're entertaining my summer. Thanks. This has really made 2020 a little bit of a more fun time. All of these streams, and thank you, Mary. I'll just say thank you for that. I'm glad we're able to entertain your summer there, David. And Robert Hobson, Bob Hob, dude. I don't know what to tell you, man. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what else to say. Thank you. That's not sufficient. Thank you. Feed Jack's Cat Fund. Of course, it's breakfast. Just ask the cat. See, if I cave while she's screaming at me to feed her, then she will only scream at me to feed her. So it's like a chess game here with cats. You know cats. We love them. Space Caesar says, what do you think of artificial gravity generated by two nose-to-nose connected starships spinning? Huh. I mean, I think that would be cool. I don't think that that's necessarily something they're looking at, but we also don't know that it's something they're not looking at.
Wouldn't you want it to be the opposite? So, like, the engines are connected, but the noses are apart?
That would make sense.
That way you have a larger radius of
Yes.
your actual spinning.
Yes. See, here you go with the math thinking that I am just like, oh, yeah, numbers. But no, that makes perfect sense. In order to make that, to generate that gravity without having to spin super rapidly and get everybody sick. Although I don't know if that would happen without a frame of reference. Anyways, you can spin slower if the 2 points are further apart, right? Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's really interesting. To what extent are they going to care about artificial gravity on these flights, or is it going to be sort of they'll just go with weightlessness? There's so many questions I have, and I would love to have answered when we get to the next Starship presentation. Just not broad strokes questions. I think we all sort of know the broad outline of the plan now. After several presentations outlining the same thing, I would really love some super duper detailed specifics. What are they doing on environmental control and life support? What are they doing with, are they doing anything with artificial gravity? What are they doing with, transit time? Are they still looking at rapidly accelerating there and then turning around and accelerating, decelerating using the extra fuel from all of the refueling ops that they're going to be doing. I mean, there's very specific details that I would love to get into, and hopefully we get some of those answers soon. So good question, Space Caesar. I'm just going to call you Space C because that sounds cool. So ask another question. Kaz Masters, $5 super chat. They say if you spin the tail, the G-force puts you upside down in reference to how we'd stand on Earth. Nose is natural orientation. Okay, that makes sense. Good call, Kaz. Thank you for the data point there. And holy Jesus, I don't know if you guys heard that. My cat is now knocking stuff off the desk. She mad. Let's see. And then let's see what else. Michael Pelletier says, has there been any news about progress towards autogenous pressurization in light of scarcity of helium on the moon and Mars? No, I don't think there have been any updates on that. And if you're wondering what is going on with those black COPVs on the outside of the vehicle, I believe as they refine Starship's design and get further into more, I guess prototypes with more fidelity of a real Starship. I think those COPVs, at least some of them, are going to go away and be replaced by that autogenous pressurization system. But I don't know that. So yeah, that'd be another question I would love to have answered in the next Starship update. Also, what's up with Lunar Starship? What are those thrusters up top? Did we ever get an answer on that? Are those hot gas, cold gas, methalox? I think we did. Maybe we did get a tweet on that, and I'm just forgetting.
Yeah.
Oh, Rocket C did go for it.
What was the question? Sorry. About I'm reading it.
Oh, I didn't click.
Thrusters. I don't see it. There we go.
Sorry, I'm really bad about clicking the super chat while I answer it. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Elon tweet about that in a while, so that's a good question. I would like to know the answer to it. But I'm pretty sure you're still using helium in those black COPVs you can see on the outside of the vehicle to pressurize the tanks.
Yep. Space C with the $5 super chat, or no, not Space C. Rocket Chaser. Song to pass the time, 99 gallons of locks on the wall. Or in the tank. Solid. Jerwa, thanks for the $5 for the cat food fund. And Christian Yalili, thank you for the $2 super chat. Kimbo Slice Gaming asks, how much time to launch? Well, first off, not going to be launching today. We're just doing a static fire test. It's basically just an engine test. We're going to fire up the engine. We're going to look at all the numbers. We're going to make sure the engine did well. And that way we will be all prepped and ready to go for a launch, hopefully, coming soon. But today, not a launch, just a static fire test. And we don't know when it's going to happen. They don't tell us those sorts of things. We sort of just have to sit up and wait. That's where the whole Texas Tank Watchers joke comes from. It's like watching paint dry, but instead of paint, it's grain silo style tanks full of cryogenic fluid. So we're just kind of sitting here and watching and hoping we hear that siren soon. But we're not even waiting for the siren at this point, really, because the first thing we would expect to see more than, well before that would be activity from the tank farm. And as of right now, no activity from the tank farm, but the pad is clear. So there is that. All right, the cat has officially laid down on my desk. The calamity is over. There's a number of things on the floor, but we'll deal with that in due course. Dennis Chamberlain, thanks for the $19 super chat. And List, thanks for the €2.
Have we answered that question in the question queue yet, Jack? I'm not sure if we've already answered a question like that. But if we haven't, I want to answer it.
You want to answer it? Can I answer it?
You can answer it. I was just thinking it would be something good to address.
All right, so this is going to take a little bit of time for me to go through all of the little bits and pieces of this. I just want to make sure the NASA spaceflight position is out there and everybody is super clear. So bear with me here. It's going to take a little bit.
The short answer is that it's not a water tower, but go ahead.
Thanks for ruining my joke. I was just going to say it's not a water tower and move on. It's not. So there's a debate in the community. I'm not quite sure why or where it's coming from, but they are currently building a second, or I guess now third, second. They're building a new launch mount over on the super heavy side of the site, and some people think it's a water tower, which I guess makes sense. You know, they probably will need water deluge. They will need sound suppression. That is totally a thing with rockets. Absolutely. But what is the object that would take the longest for them to build, and what is the object that would, require the most structural beefiness? A water tower or a launch pad? And the 8-foot diameter concrete rebar filled pilings that are sheathed in multiple inches thick of steel. I don't think that's a water tower. It's not a water tower. It doesn't make any sense for it to be a water. So it's not a water. But yeah, that's the long and short of that. Answer: not a water tower. And if you think it's a water tower, by all means, that's your prerogative. We will find out in due course.
Yep. But
good question, though, Zigger. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, you can just kind of tell too by the amount of concrete they've poured that it's going to be that's a structure designed to withstand very large forces.
Yeah, if you look at any water deluge water tower from any other launch pad, it has skinny steel legs and a massive central downcomer like pipe for the water. This has the opposite. It has massive, super over-engineered pilings for, it just wouldn't build a water tower on that. I'm sorry, it's not a water tower. But yeah, I am very curious to see how this entire site will evolve. Surely they'll need a large amount of water on site. How does that work? There are no pipes to the launch site. There are no pipes even to Boca Chica Village from Brownsville. So, I don't think they can use salt water for sound suppression. That would just eat and corrode everything on the pad and mount. That just doesn't, maybe they could. I don't know. But yeah, where does the water come from? Where are they going to put a water tower? Do they end up doing desalinization and pulling water out of the ocean? Can they even do that with the various environmental rules and the wildlife preserve and the sea turtles? There's so many questions as to how this site will grow up and evolve. So I understand the speculation that it might be a water tower, and I understand people thinking that it might be a water tower. But if you go on the NASASpaceflight forum, it is an invaluable resource because there are many people, many times smarter than myself, people with relevant expertise, people who pore over these photos and say, hey, I worked on a site and this is why you would build something in that manner. And so I'm not just making it up and saying, no, it's not a water tower. I am basing this off of evidence that our eyes can see. Things like no pipes being to the launch pad. Things like the sign on the fence saying super heavy launch pad. Things like it being incredibly over-engineered for a water tower. So, and again, people in NASASpaceflight forums just discussing what they think it is. So, anyways, I'm excited to see how this thing grows up, and I'm excited to see this place become a real launch site, and it's going to be really cool to see it evolve over time. Let's see, Tim Schaefer with the 230 saying, have we seen that valve on SN8 forward dome before? I think we've seen something similar on like 7.1. I don't know. Michael, do you have a good answer for that question?
I'm not sure, to be honest. But I think there was some talk that it was new. So perhaps.
Interesting. Good question, Tim, and good noticing.
But yeah, I did not notice that myself. I only heard about that because other people were talking about it, but I'm not able to independently verify that.
Let's see. I'll run through some more super chats. David Knight, thanks for the 420 pounds towards new mic for Michael. I think Michael sounds good. Huh. And Olivier Jensen's. Let's see. Two different super chats at 11 euros and 5 euros. Thank you, Olivier. And Kaz Masters. Yeah, I know there's been some videos discussing the water tower thing. I know. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Let's see. Dude, I'm not gonna be able to say your name. Widura? I'm really sorry if I butchered that. Why isn't there any load simulator? I think you mean the mass simulator up top. And usually, I think we've seen that installed after static fire. So presumably, if static fire goes well today, they will install that thing shortly after, and then they will be able to do a little hop. Is the high bay on its last level now? Dougal asks. We think there's going to be another half level, right?
Yeah, I'm not. I think at least another half level. I've seen people say 2 more. I've seen people say, well, 2 more meaning 2 more halves, but so 1 total level. But it's, I've not seen a definitive answer. We know it's going to be 81 meters tall, but I don't know exactly how tall each section is. I've seen people try to measure it based on other objects and speculate, but definitely at least 1 more half level though. And somebody in chat saying that some of the aerial photos from RGV shows at least 1.5 layers left, and that's probably correct because there still does seem to be a lot of those pieces lying around on the ground as they prepare to lift them up.
It's insane seeing how massive that building already is, and just to think that it's still got a ways to go, even if it's just another half level like we're speculating, or if it's more than that. Either way, it's already so huge.
Yeah, and then Ken asks, and why did they put half level up? I'm guessing they mean why did they put a half level up instead of another full level? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not like a crane expert, but it might have just been that they wanted to lift smaller pieces as they got that high, just because of wind and whatnot. But I'm not entirely sure. That's a guess. I mean, but we know it's not the top level yet because the current pieces still have those mounts or future pieces to be stacked on top. It doesn't have the cover yet for the start of the roof, so at least another half level.
Yep. Packed in, welcome to Pad Rat. Thanks for the new membership. Vijay Siani, thank you for the 20 euros. Thanks, guys. Keep bringing us some more rocket fun. And Zigor, thanks for the 10. I'm not sure what currency unit that is. James Lowe says, I have my Texas Tank Watchers t-shirt on. Underneath that is my SpaceX shirt. Love watching you guys. I hope you're in the Southern Hemisphere and it's not summer where you are, because it is incredibly hot here. But thanks for the support, James. Oh, and chat saying that the mass simulator was installed on SN5 before static fire. Now I feel dumb.
Was it really? I feel dumb too. I know an SN4 was definitely installed. It was installed after the first round of static fire test, before the second round of static fire test.
Yeah,
There's so
either
much
way,
happening in Boca Chica. I can't keep track of it all.
Either way, the moral of the story is it takes them a day or two to put the mass simulator on. So
Yeah.
if they do it after the static, not a big deal.
But I mean, that could be a sign there won't be a mass simulator on this one. Who knows? And yeah, there was a mass simulator. I just confirmed that. So sorry about that. Though I mean, there are, I guess, one possible indication is that there are several days in between the planned hop today and August 28th, which is the planned hop date. That is a little bit more time than they originally scheduled for the turnaround between SN5 static fire and SN5's hop. So maybe they have extra time built in to install a mass simulator. Who knows? Ken asks, is the mass simulator still on SN5? As far as I know, I believe it is.
Yeah, it was there yesterday.
Yeah. And I think, as far as we know, the Raptor's still on SN5, unless they've been able to somehow get under there and sneak it out. But
There was a day a couple days ago where Mary was saying that I think she was saying that SN5 was hooked up to a crane, and we were wondering, or maybe there was a crane just near SN5. I'm forgetting now. But either way, we were speculating that there might not be enough clearance underneath the vehicle in the mid bay there, so they might have had to lift it up to get Raptor out. Because as we know, they installed a Raptor at the launch site currently. So yeah, I'm very curious what the status of, because you would think that they would want to pull Raptor 27 off of SN5 and take a look at it and just basically pick it apart. And Mary's saying crane was hooked up to SN8. Thanks, Mary. So yeah, so it was not hooked up to SN. So for all we know, Raptor could still be on there, and it would make sense.
so still waiting for venting to start. We're not quite sure what is taking so long, but we did see the pad clear just before we went live, and we've been live for about an hour and 10 minutes or so. So I think maybe were actually sitting around for 20 or 30 minutes before we went live. So I think it's probably been at least an hour and a half since the pad was cleared. But no sign of venting from the tank farm yet. No sign of venting from the vehicle, obviously. So still waiting to see what happens. But again, as usual, SpaceX does not provide an official schedule unless Elon himself decides to tweet. And as of now, Elon has not tweeted. So we just have to hang out and be patient and see what happens. But one of two things are going to happen here. Either we're going to see venting and the test sequence will begin, or there's an issue, and in that case, we'll likely see vehicles return to the pad. So hopefully it'll be the venting option rather than the vehicles returning option, obviously.
Jim McCaslin, thank you for the membership. Welcome to Red Team, buddy. You're going to get some Discord emojis. You're going to get the YouTube preview videos. You get all kinds of good stuff for supporting the stream. So thank you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I'm still continuing to monitor the weather. It looks like there's just a lot of small pockets of rain moving through the area, but right now it looks like Boca Chica continues to dodge them, so hopefully it continues that way.
Knock on particle board. I need to get like at least one piece of solid wood furniture so I have wood to knock on. All I have is like pressed particle board IKEA stuff.
Eastview Racer asks, thank you for the super chat. Do you see them building a crawler or something similar as the Starship and with Super Heavy continue to get heavier and heavier? That's a great question. I guess for Starship, they could theoretically roll the tank section out like you do right now and then stack the nose cone at the launch pad. I'm not sure if they'll do that, but that was the plan they were going to do with Starship Mark 1, which was the only Starship so far that was at one point planned to get a nose cone after arriving at the test stand. But with Starship SN8, we're not sure if that's going to be how it plays out. They could stack the nose cone at the launch site and then roll it.
I don't think so.
But really,
I don't just based on the payload user guide. payload user guide says that the payload isn't. Whoa, $99 super chat. But you might have given it to the wrong people.
Yeah, I don't know. But the crawler thing is interesting. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think for super heavy they might need it though.
Yeah. So the payload user guide says they're going to encapsulate the payload in the fairing and then roll it to the launch site in the same orientation and then integrate it vertically onto the stack. So if the payload user guide is taken literally, I mean, first you take out the super heavy, you put it on the thing, then you take out the start.
There's venting from the tank farm.
Oh, excellent. Look at that. Look at it go.
Thank you, Mary. I was not even paying attention. I saw Mary typing him. She was sending us text about venting. There you go.
Yeah,
Something is finally happening.
I saw that she had said a few moments ago that the grass vent was going, and I was in my babble about the crawler thing. Yeah, I think having some kind of crawler system is pretty much inevitable. They can't keep renting roll lifts forever, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. And Quiet Storm again with $50. Thank you, Quiet Storm, so much. Thank you for the support. That is $50 is so much money.
So they said what happened was they had all the different streams up. They meant to support all of them. I think they accidentally sent the wrong ones to the wrong channel. So
no worries.
We appreciate you showing support to everyone. It's good to have so many different people providing different angles and whatnot of all these tests. And lots of excitement here at Boca Chica and lots of different ways to consume it. So that's good to see. And thank you for supporting them.
Yeah, it's super cool, honestly. We're spoiled and we're lucky that we have so many folks out there doing this. So.
Yeah. And you can definitely see now on the bottom left that grass vent that Mary was talking about. So I'm going to progress our timeline to tank farm activity.
Do 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 do. We need like a sound effect. I guess that's going to be it.
It's interesting though because that is unless they move something, I don't believe that's the methane recondenser that started venting first. So that would be different than what we saw last time with SN5, or it could just be that the wind is like blowing the condensation from the methane recondenser kind of behind those tanks, so we just can't see it. I'm not sure which one, but
you know where that kind of looks like the vent we would be seeing. You know, if it was a night test, there would be a yellow light behind that, and everyone would say, "Is that fire? Is that fire?"
Yeah.
It looks like that.
Exactly.
It looks like that same vent.
Yeah.
People are saying the grass vent is big. We can't see it in our frame, but that's good to know.
Oh, there's a methane recondenser. There we go. Now you can see it.
Bam. All right, so we're into fueling.
Yeah.
I need to bring up one of our like spreadsheets of timing activity, so we can make a guess, an educated guess on where we are at right now in the flow. About 40 minutes, 50 minutes?
I actually have notes. I don't have them up though because I'm juggling too many things.
Yeah, bring them up. If memory serves, we're like 40, 50 minutes somewhere in there into the flow at this point based on tank farm activity.
I think we're probably at 30 minutes, maybe a little bit less. This happens pretty quick. Well, that was for the hop timeline. I don't know if they're going to do for SN5. Maybe for SN6, they're really not going to put a mass simulator on it. They're going to load more propellant, so it could be different. But
can they load more propellant, or is it like an FAA mandated thing where they can only load so much?
I think they should be able to. I'm not positive. I think they have some leeway because the FAA license they were given does permit higher altitude hops than just 150 meters, which would presumably require more propellant. So I think so, but I'm not sure if the specific agreement that they have with the FAA is not publicly known. The license that they got was basically based on what you told us, so we don't know what SpaceX was communicating to the FAA. That part is not public,
Got
so
it.
it's hard to say for sure.
Got it. All right. This is great. We got a vehicle accepting propellant, fuel, and we are progressing towards a static fire test.
Wow,
Look at that. That's not something we've really seen before. It is a very large cloud. Hopefully a pipe hasn't come loose or something, and that was just a big burp from the recondenser. That's probably what it was. Looks like it's chilling out now.
So now we're waiting to see the vehicle vent to confirm propellant loading, but very promising.
It's like Starship SN6 rolls into the gas station and it goes over the little rubber tube that makes the bell sound like ding ding. A guy comes out of the gas station. He's like, "What do you have?" And Starship SN6 is like, "Give me 1 billion octane." Francisco Villafuerte. That is a classy sounding name. Welcome to Pad Rat, buddy. Thanks for the membership. And I guess while I'm at it, Crazy Cake 73, thanks for the $1 super chat. And Moldy Space, what up, Moldy? Say, hey all, slept in today. Looks like I woke up just in time. Here's some money for being wonderful. Well, thank you, Moldy. Always in these streams, always contributing. We appreciate you. Maximilian Gerbeck asking if Mary got a notice for testing today, and indeed she did. Yesterday she got the standard like warning paperwork. Alert notice? I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah, I guess alert notice. Hazard warning.
Progressed our timeline again to prop loading. We haven't seen any venting yet, but based on what we saw with the previous test flows, propellant is usually flowing into the vehicle at this time. It just takes a bit for the pressure to build up before they start venting.
So the next thing we're looking for is vents from the vehicle itself.
Yes, and on the bottom left of SN6 will be the liquid oxygen vent. That should be going pretty much constantly once they get it pressurized. So that's a good sign that we'll be looking to see.
Indeed.
But
let's see, chat. If you guys have some questions, throw them in the chat there at NASASpaceflight. That helps see the question. Michael, this is probably, maybe a good question for you. I don't know. They say, I'm curious, or Matt Pona in chat says, I'm curious if the methane engines would create more CO2 than Keralox, since there is more complete combustion and less soot. I would assume slightly more CO2. Any thoughts?
I'm not sure. That's not my area of expertise, I would say.
Yeah, it's not mine either, just to be 100% clear before I just start rambling. But to me, it's more complete combustion, like you said. So would that not be a cleaner output? If you're more completely combusting the fuel, and there's less residual left over because it's more complete. Oh, look at that. Is that a vent on the side of the vehicle? No, it's the reconditioning. So yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. The one that I unfortunately don't have the answer to, but thank you for asking. James Falcon asking, why doesn't SpaceX hold the static fires longer, like with Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy? I mean, I think part of that is just a matter of there's no flame trench or, you know, gigantic water deluge system on this pad, so you don't necessarily want it to you don't necessarily want it just sit there and blast the ground under the pad and just scour it for that long. And Pacton upgraded their membership to Red Team. Thanks, Pacton. Oh, Spacing Out saying that Tim has a great video on rocket emissions. You know, I still haven't watched that yet, and I'll have to get around to it at some point. I'm sure that would help enlighten me a little bit. David Van Horn in chat saying you'll get less CO2, or more CO2, but less particulate. And then Darren Ritchie saying methane produces less CO2 per unit of energy versus heavier hydrocarbons like kerosene and coal. Carbon emissions have been falling as natural gas replaces coal. So yeah, again, not my area of expertise, but look at all of that venting. That is a lot of activity from the tank farm. Matthew Krellin asking, any chance this could be a hop? No, Matthew. Sorry, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but. And Class Jan Youngsma asking, we don't have ambient sounds today. No, I think we were troubleshooting some weirdness with the mic there.
It was just some loud bugs, I think, of cicadas and whatnot, which was getting made worse through the audio we're listening to, not the stream, because we're listening to processed audio over Discord, but the stream gets raw. So what we were hearing did not sound great, but what the stream will hear will be good when we turn it up. I will turn it up as soon as we see venting. The reason it's turned down right now is because there have been all you would hear right now is obnoxious cicadas, so until we see venting, we're leaving it down low.
Maybe I've just watched Neon Genesis Evangelion too much, but something about cicadas is like insanely unnerving, but also calming for me. In that show, they use it as it's just like a, I don't know, not plot device. I don't know, they make effective use of the cicada audio, and now it's like indelibly marked in my brain as sort of makes me uneasy. But relax. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I like it. Insect white noise. It's almost as good as
I just turned it up slightly, so we'll see what it sounds like. Any news on the Salcom mission? The Salcom mission is still scheduled to launch August 27th, but that depends on if the Delta IV Heavy launches on August 26th. That has range priority, so the Delta
Heavy's gotta go first.
If the Delta IV Heavy launches on time, Salcom could launch on August 27th. If the Delta IV Heavy slips, Salcom cannot launch until the Delta Heavy launches because the Salcom launch has to fly based on its trajectory close to the Delta IV Heavy pad. And because the Delta IV Heavy has a very important national security payload, the range is not letting SpaceX launch Salcom until the Delta IV Heavy has launched.
XX Roland in chat. Roland, dude. Thank you for the kind words. They say, love the broadcast every time. You guys have the best cameras covering Starship and Super Heavy development. Here's my question. Would you be open to some call-ins? It would be fun. You know, we've done that sort of thing in the past, and we've sort of changed our infrastructure a little bit. And we have actually now call-in them. So thank you to Das for getting that set up. If the opportunity arises, yeah, we would love. I would personally, speaking for myself, not the rest of the team, but I know they agree with me. I would love to do some more of that stuff. We had Scott Manley on once. We had Tim Dodd on. We had a little bit of a party chat. That was really fun. So hopefully we get to do some stuff like that again in the future.
We can just anybody in our current Discord for the members, we can use that, but we can use a channel on that server to broadcast audio and stream. So I know before a couple of, I think it was last month, maybe the month before, we did on one of the test campaigns. We were waiting a while for testing to happen. We spooled up the members only stream and had some members talking. So I imagine at some point in the future we will do more members only streams. We haven't done a lot of it so far, but as we get more people, we get more equipment, we should have more bandwidth to be able to do that more often.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was basically what we're listening to right now, but except that all the members are able to join and chat as well.
Celadon hair extraordinaire with $2 New Zealand. They say, "Hey, Evangelion, what's up, anime friends? Thanks for the $2. Click Celadon." We got 10,000 currency units. I don't know. What is a CLP? Let's Google it. Oh, it's a Chilean peso. Cool. Thanks so much, Jose, for the 10,000 Chilean pesos. I've always wanted to go to Chile. Not only do you have deserts, you have high deserts, and you have a whole bunch of observatories, like world-class observatories. So I would love to go out there, get some South America in my eyeballs, get some Southern Hemisphere night sky in my eyeballs, and get some international desert action going on. Because if you know anything about me, you know I love the desert. I don't know why, but I do. It's kind of like being on another planet, maybe like being on Mars. So thank you, Jose. And if you're watching from Chile, well, that's cool too. And if you're not, well, it's still cool. And Moonshadow, thanks for the Pad Rat new membership. Awesome. And thanks, Livaco, for the 5 curly L's.
Some people in chat. Oh, go ahead.
JM Var is saying, "Funny, I hate the deserts. Warmth and sand is horrific." You say that, but it's really nice though. It's like home. And I say that, and I'm really not a fan of the beach. So go figure.
Some people in chat are wondering if they're going for the top of the hour here, and that seems quite plausible based on the timelines that we've seen before and where we are in the timeline. If that is true, we should see the locks vent start up here shortly, though, so we'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah,
But
curious that we're still not venting from the vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, top of the hour is plausible to me, given that I feel like they've done that before, right? I'm trying to remember. Andy Chambers, thanks for the $2. Framick, thank you for the new membership. And Dale, thank you for the new membership. Y'all, members, I just want to shout out to members real quick. Thank you, guys. Thank you. The super chats are awesome.
Jack, your liquid oxygen tank is venting, so you're getting interrupted.
Hey, look at that. That's what we want to see, though. It looks like it's kind of surging a little bit, too.
Yeah, the top of the hour definitely looks like a good call. We don't know for sure, that's a guess, but something around there.
So potentially around 17 minutes away. Maybe 7 minutes away from a siren. So let's listen for a siren here in about 7 minutes, and hopefully that'll be indicative of testing flow progressing rapidly into a static fire. Bird, that was a request, Framrick. Rest in peace, your ears. All right, vehicle is venting. Vehicle is fueling. We are now waiting for a 10-minute siren, hopefully in the next 5 or 6 minutes. That would be awesome.
I'm turning the ambient audio up a bit as we start to get into the later portions of the countdown. Let me know if that sounds good, chat. If the audio balance is good and whatnot between the ambient and our voices.
Jose Gutierrez, thank you for the new membership. Welcome to PadRat, buddy. And Don Terralio. Any idea on the thrust structure for Super Heavy? Must be massive. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the thrust pucks, thrust structures, whatever you want to call them. Once they start getting those put together for Super Heavy, it's gonna look like a Swiss cheesy kind of crazy overbuilt steel Swiss cheese. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect, but it's gonna look cool. I'm gonna try and shut up a little bit more, and we'll listen to some of this audio here.
Yep, the chat says the balance sounds good, so let's listen in for a bit.
Cool, yeah, let's do that. Welcome to Capcom. Thank you for the new membership, buddy. And BitC36, thanks for the $6 Canadian. Say thanks to the NASA Spaceflight team for all the great coverage. Huge shout out to Mary for all her amazing videos and photos. Again, yeah, couldn't do this without Mary. Seriously. Thank you, Mary. Everybody throw thanks to Mary in the chat there. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like what we do. And I'll shut up again. We'll listen to some more ambient audio. Thanks, Mary. Yovan Noel, a really good idea. Let's see where everyone is from. Throw up where you're from in chat. I always like to see where everybody's watching. It's super cool that we get to share this with everybody around the world. Hopefully we're coming up on just a few minutes away from the warning siren. Maybe as little as 2. We're guessing here. Just hopefully they're going at the top of the hour if you're just joining us. But we don't know that. Sort of all guessing game. And chat is blowing up with everybody. Netherlands, Swiss, South Africa, Sweden, Australia, Malaysia. So yeah, we don't know when this thing is going to go. but we're thinking maybe top of the hour, and the next step is listening for that siren. So I'm going to shut up, and we're going to listen for the siren. Interesting that the LOX vent has stopped. Huh.
Yeah, usually when we get close to a test, we see a lot of venting from the LOX vents. So that is interesting. But we also
Yeah.
have not seen the top two vents in the center of the vehicle facing us. That is usually where they depress some of the abort. So maybe during a hold of some sort. We don't know, but we definitely did not see the trademark sign for recycle yet. So I think there's still a chance that everything is still on, possibly a built-in hold, possibly something different with this current test flow than what we've seen before. We don't know for sure, but it is certainly a good observation that liquid oxygen tank is not venting right now.
Moldy Space in chat asking, is this the first time this vehicle has been fueled with both propellants? And I believe the answer to that is yes. Is that correct, Michael?
Oh, sorry. I was reading messages from DOS. What's the question?
Oh, no worries. This is the first time SN6 has been fueled with both propellants, right? Methane and LOX?
Yes, correct.
Excellent.
I could also just talk, I guess. I'm back on the microphone now.
What are you eating this time? Is it some sort of delicious delicacy that I don't have?
How could you tell I was eating?
I can. I just...
Chat, no, come on, people, somebody back me up. I was eating potato salad, it's true, I admit it, but I don't think y'all could hear me eating.
No,
Das,
I think
I edit dialogue frequently for a living. I know what it sounds like.
Fair enough, fair enough. How's it looking? How are we progressing along? I saw it move up to propellant loading, and I see some definite activity happening.
yeah, just that LOX tank has stopped venting. That's the big unknown right now. It could. It's hard. I'm looking really closely. It's hard to see if the wind maybe is just blowing it behind the vehicle, but it doesn't look like it's venting much right now, which is not something we've seen before.
Yeah.
So
There's
potentially a built-in
something.
hold. Yeah.
You see it back behind the.
Yeah,
the
it looks
three...
like there is something. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if it's just a wind direction.
I don't know.
Some people are saying minor LOX vent in chat. Yeah, so it might, but it's definitely not like the full-blown LOX vent we usually see at like T minus 10 minutes. So maybe a
What's
built-in hold. I don't know.
What's
I
really
like the,
interesting to me is we haven't seen the venting from the ports that are facing us. You can see the one there above that dark weld. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 rings down, and then there's another one like 2 rings down, right to the immediate left of that, the vertical COPV that's facing. So neither of those vents have been active at all, as far as I can tell, right?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there was less of that with SN5 than we had seen before, but I'm not quite sure. And you can actually see some like condensation or frost or chilling on the vehicle right now on the thrust section is facing us. That lighter portion, if you rewind like 5 minutes, is pretty clear. It's probably caused by that pipe right in the center facing us
Yeah,
in the lower
yeah,
portion.
that makes sense. Yep.
I like the post-apocalyptic boom lift there in the lower left. Every now and then the venting sort of goes past it and it sort of emerges out of the vent.
Yeah, that thing looks awesome. It's very Mad Max.
Yeah.
It's like witness.
A guy with a guitar on the top of the boom lift. Like,
Yeah.
I've been checking in with the weather as well. I've been watching the weather here at the NASA Spaceflight Weather Center, which is just my computer. And it looks like there's a bunch of thunderstorms, but they've all passed to the west of Boca Chica right now. So don't want to jinx it, but there was a bunch of dark clouds in the area, and they all missed to the west. I don't see anything coming in from the south right now, but again, I am not a meteorologist. Just having a look at it here. So
Yeah, I was also looking as well.
good deal. Still, the relative, what is it? The feels like temperature or whatever is 98 degrees. The heat index, I guess, is the correct terminology. 98 degrees out there, and it's mostly cloudy. It looks like so.
Yeah.
It's toasty. Anomaly witnessed. Nice.
John Schumacher, thanks for the new membership. And Alexander Van Haster, thanks for the €5. Say such a genuine and knowledgeable team. Cheers for the great content. Also loving the Texas Tank Watchers hat. Cheers from Amsterdam. Cheers, Alexander.
Like some people in chat, Nightbot. Nightbot is an automated system that keeps people from coming in and like spamming all cap letters and stuff like that. Like that sort of stuff. That's what Nightbot is. If you spam all caps or something, it'll delete your message. All it does. It doesn't do much more than that. But somebody said no caps allowed because that's the Nightbot message. Well, the only caps allowed here are the Texas tank watching caps. It's like, how can we on our stream say that no caps are allowed? Like literally, I live in a baseball cap, so we may need to change that message.
Puns.
Puns.
All right, let's see. Oh, Mike Billsborough. Thanks for the 20 curly L's. That's a lot of curly L's. And Bimmergeezer, thanks for the $25. Say, Das, SpaceX needs to put in one of those road sign message boards telling us what is happening. I bet somebody would hack it if they did.
Oh, jeez.
I've always wanted to do that. That'd be so hilarious just to like change one of those signs to just be like, "Eat it, Joe's."
Eat it, Joe's.
Or whatever. Disclaimer. I don't actually want to do that.
Do you think we could?
Don't hack things.
Could we rent one? Like, we should call up United Rentals and see if we could rent one and put it in Mary's driveway that says like Texas Tank Watchers or something.
That would be hilarious. I'm sure Mary wouldn't mind that at all. No, I'm kidding.
Texas Tank Watchers World Headquarters, like.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Established 2019. Yeah,
Did
tank
we
farm
answer-
still. Go for it.
I was gonna. Did we answer the question about the gas well in the queue? I don't think we did, right?
No, but I did want to answer that. I really like this question, and it's I'm very curious. Oh, did I accidentally? I think I might have accidentally cleared it. Darn it.
I'll find it. No worries.
Sorry. Oh, jeez. I feel like Jerry from The Office.
The question
So-
was, do you know what's going on at the gas well, basically?
Yeah, so as you're driving towards Boca Chica, the first thing you get to is the production site. And then you keep going down the road another mile or two, and you get to the launch site, and then you get to the beach. So just before the production site, there is a lot that we refer to as the old gas well lot, because there is a well, I don't know, it's not an oil well, right? But it's basically a natural gas well. It's not liquid, it's gas, but it's a petroleum well. Is it a petroleum product well? This tells you how much I know about refining in the oil industry. Either way, there used to be a well there. It's been capped or temporarily plugged, and we've been seeing a lot of groundwork going on there and some equipment brought in, some equipment from a oil subcontractor, actually. So I've seen some speculation on the NSF forums that they might be setting up a small, like pilot methane capture system, or they could just be testing that well ahead of ultimately capping it off for good and then developing that site. Because I think in order to cap it off, they have to know what they're capping. But really, I don't think we've seen any sort of official word. But yeah, it would really be nice to get some more thoughts around that. And I will say, do poke around, because there have been a couple really substantive comments about it on the forum, and those are really enlightening.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say I think they're probably staging tanks there for the super heavy pad, but I don't know for sure. But they're definitely going to need a lot more ground support equipment for super heavy at some point.
Yeah, they're starting to run out of room over at the actual test area. I mean, there's
Yeah, I don't
so
know.
much gear, equipment, rebar stacked up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm not sure how they're actually going to fit enough ground support equipment for super heavy without having it right next to the pad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it might, looking at what they've already done, it might end up being right next to the pad. But yeah, I'm also extremely curious how that's all going to work, given the volume of consumables that they're going to need. It's just going to dwarf what they already have there. So,
But
yeah,
in terms of,
it's a really good question to see about
Yeah.
the old gas well lot, and I'm excited to see what they do there.
in terms of what we're seeing with Starship SN6, though, I will say we have not seen this before, really. I would guess they are, at the very least, holding right now. Based on the previous timelines we've seen, it should definitely be sustained liquid oxygen tank venting right now. And right now I'm seeing little to no venting, so that is interesting. We didn't see the top two vents in the center of the vehicle do a lot of venting. That's usually what happens when they scrub or abort. So presumably they're just holding right now, but we're gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. I do not think that they have. I do think this at the very least a hold, though. I definitely don't think this is a active countdown right now, but that's just, again, inferences based on the previous test campaigns that we've seen.
Inferences, that's a good word.
Nice.
You know
we've
what word?
We've just crossed the top of the hour there, just past noon Central Daylight Time over there. So that's a good, I think, assessment there, Michael. On earlier, I heard we were sort of guessing maybe they're shooting for the top of the hour, and we've crossed that over with no sirens. So we continue to listen for that siren is the next thing we're gonna hear, right? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Don't want to jinx it or anything. Too many people watching tanks today. You want me to clear out the super chat queue real quick?
Yeah, please.
All right. Hey, Paul Hunt, thanks for the new membership there. We appreciate the support. We got Lithnik. Hello from Norway. We appreciate the Lithnik. Thanks for tuning in from Norway. Brendan Gleason, there's a question on this one. Oh, geez. I can say this out loud. Is it true that there will be a Texas Tank Watcher underwear range available soon? Underwear range? I don't know that we've thought of that. Maybe a tank top? I'll have to get back to you on the Texas Tank Watcher underwear range. Dale Kirkwood, we appreciate the support. Wait, Jack, you said something about Texas Tank Watcher underwear?
I think I mentioned that I had removed before flight underwear from Edwards Airport. At some point, I think that's probably what they're getting at.
Oh no, I'm just gonna move on before the chat erupts in underwear puns or something like that here.
You never know what's going to appear in the merch store. Is all I'm saying.
You never know.
Keep your eyes
Yeah.
on it.
Actually, some of the new merch may end up in the end cards of the video. We have a little store link in the end cards of the daily videos, and every now and then we sneak a new bit of merch in there to see if anybody notices. So Here's another one, Eastview Racer. We appreciate you. You said if they put a wall, you should buy Mary one of the man lifts they have around the sites to get to high places. I could just picture Mary driving down the road with 3 cameras clamped to the safety railing of a lift. You know how you in the videos sometimes you see the lifts actually driving around with people on them?
Yep.
That would be hilarious. Yeah, we know you could get them from United Rentals. We would just have to clearly label it as one that we did not borrow from SpaceX. It's like this lift properly registered to NASASpaceflight or whatever. We've got Jala J as well. Jala said, was just told to get more excited watching tanks than when I was about to give birth. Am I a bad person? Jala, thank you for the support. I'm going to the next thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting excited about Texas tank watching, especially with the whole community involved here. There's an awful lot of people, a big bunch of community members, and it's like we're sitting in a stadium all watching some stainless steel. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. We've got Gustavo Arango B. Gustavo, thank you for the membership. PyTorque as well. Sounds like some sort of rotational forces applied to a fruit filled pastry. We appreciate the support. David Wilson, Texas Tank Watchers underwear would have to be. Yeah, I'm just stopping there. Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you for that one. I think I'm displaying that one, honestly. We're just going to move right on past it. And then Javon Cabaris. This is a question. What do you guys think the second pad will be used for? Multiple tests or launches? Or just one for test tanks? Another episode of Texas Tank Watchers. Anyways, what do y'all think? Michael, Jack, do we think that they're going to have, would they be able to launch from both of those? Is one just for pressure tests and the other one's for launches? What are our thoughts on that now?
I don't think
the latest understanding that I had was that Pad A, which is what we're looking at right now with SN6, was for launches, and Pad B was for the testing to failure with those prototypes. But having said that, plans at Boca Chica change very frequently, so if that ends up also being a launch stand, I would not be surprised. We've also seen some other activity near Pad B in the latest videos, so perhaps they need a larger stand for SN8, because that's going to have 3 Raptors. Maybe they'll build that near Pad B, I don't know. But for now, I think we'll likely see Starship SN7.1, which is the next test tank they're going to test the failure. We'll probably go to Pad B on that new test stand they've just placed out there. And likely the reason for having a similar launch stand, or similar stand for the test of failures as the launch stand, is so they can build a very similar prototype and have it attached to the stand just like it would on the actual launch stand. So I think that's just trying to get more accurate hardware on the testing stand that closely resembles the launch stand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I think SN2, the one of those test tanks, it sort of just had like 2 common bulkhead or 2 top bulkheads.
Oh, sorry, I'm interrupting you, Jack. The 2 upper tanks are venting right now, very slightly.
Look at that. Yep.
Oh yeah, you can see little puffs up there.
So I based on the tank farm activity and what we're seeing up there, I would guess this has been an aborted static fire attempt. We don't have any official information, but clearly things did not play out as we have seen in the past for a static fire. And again, this window lasts all the way till 8 p.m. So there is still plenty of time to recycle. So
yeah,
a static fire is very much still possible for today, but I would think this definitely appears to be an abort for the first attempt.
Gotcha. Hey, real quick, that Pad A and Pad B, is that like our nomenclature? Is there a sign on a chain link fence down there or something? Or is that just how we refer to them to keep them straight?
That is what we understand the nomenclature is. I think it's Pad A, Pad B, and then the orbital pad, which is down where the super heavy launch stand is.
Gotcha.
That is like stuff we're reporting. That's not speculation.
Gotcha. I always wonder, and you can see they're still venting up there, those 2 white little puffy wannabe clouds, not even clouds, at the top of the tank. One near up that black line at the top of it, right in the middle, and then one down, what do you think? It's like a third of the way down from the top. Those are the 2 vents we're talking about, and that's pressure being released from those 2 vent ports that we see up there quite often. So,
yeah, sure looks like detanking, which not a big deal. They can always recycle. The thing we wouldn't want to see is vehicles heading back to the pad, but even then, plenty of time in today's window. So we'll just keep our eyes for activity from the tank farm to fire back up again here.
Yep. Another 8 hours in the window, just under 8 hours, because it goes until, like you said, 8 p.m. local time. So we're standing by. We'll see how it is. Again, just so everybody understands, SpaceX doesn't officially publish their internal test schedules here, right? So they give the residents of Boca Chica Village a warning that says, hey, sometimes between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. something might happen. We'll do a lap with a police siren. Literally, it's a lap with a sheriff's car siren if something's going to happen about 10 minutes in advance, but it's a 12-hour window there. And they don't tell anybody, hey, well, at exactly 1 o'clock, we're going to go for static fire. There's not a big clock on the side that has a countdown or anything. So we watch the activity of the farm. We watch what's going on. And just based on, we get up early and we don't go to sleep till we watch a lot of tanks down in Texas. Just based on past activity, past experience with what we've seen as their process, we sort of guess where we are. That's why we generally have the little checklist in the corner, right? But it is a guess. It's not SpaceX saying at exactly this time this is going to happen. And we know that window extends for the entire road closure. So they do file with Cameron County, Texas. That's the county that Boca Chica Village is located in, all this test facility is located in. And they file road closures because the road that goes past to the camera here, every now and then when we see the cars coming or going from the pad, you see these cars going on the road. That's actually a road that is public access to the public beach, the Boca Chica beach there. So this isn't SpaceX private property on that road. That is actually a county road resource. And they do have to notify the county and request that it get closed down. So the sheriff's involved. They put up what we call a hard roadblock there to keep people from going to the beach, because if they were going to the beach, they would pass very close to the test site within the safety boundaries as you drove by on that road. So that's where we are. We sort of just watch what's going on. We see the vents there. Looks like a recycle. Road is still closed. We don't want them to open that road up. Usually if the road opens up, that's a good sign they're done for the day. If something really sort of hiccuped, we may see SpaceX vehicles approach the pad. So Mary will be there watching for that. We may see them go across the screen if that's the thing, but it all depends on what went wrong. It may not have been a physical issue. It may have been a sensor that they were checking. It may have been the temperature of the cryogenic liquids that they were using or something along those lines. But again, it is a test, and SpaceX does not have any incentive to rush it and potentially damage the test vehicle, damage the test site, or anything like that. If they see something wrong, there's no problem with shutting it down, just making sure everything's cool. So we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to keep on watching.
Lewis Parrott says, get DOS to draw a squiggly line screen, please.
I don't have the telestration online right now. I have like another setup that I have to do. I could draw squiggly lines. Y'all just couldn't see them. Like,
my bad.
Yeah. Does anybody think it got a little bit more denty there at the top?
Yep.
Yep. It definitely depressurized. Right.
Yep.
Good point.
So we saw those vents at the top, and they were releasing pressure from those tanks. And now, right there, about midway in the vehicle, you can see a couple dents that have formed. That is the mass of the tankage and structure up above it pressing down on those stainless steel rings, and every now and then they get little dents. That doesn't mean they're cracked or anything like that. That just means that that weight has dented them back in, and then when they pressurize those tanks, you see them pop back out again.
Multiple people in chat suggesting that potentially could be a wet dress or some sort of tanking test for the static fire, which is possible.
Yeah.
Again,
I will say there was supposed to be a static fire this morning, so
Yeah.
they did. Based on everything we've heard, there was supposed to be a static fire this morning. If it didn't happen, that's because it's aborted.
There you go.
What did somebody in chat say? This is another T-shirt idea. When it starts to vent, look for the dent. It's a little Texas tank watcher nugget of wisdom there. When it starts to vent, look for the dents.
Don't be a venting if we're there's something there. There's definitely something there. We ain't long. Yeah. There's something there.
If the tank's a ventin, look for the dentin.
Yeah, there
what
you
is
go.
That, like
there
teeth?
You go.
It's like enamel and dentin. That's part of the structure of a tooth, so I don't know if I like that one.
Yeah, ew. Ew.
Ew. Stainless steel spaceship has nothing to do with teeth.
Bingo fuel in chat says, bird drone is airborne. The B1RD.
When it starts to vent, look for the dent. I'd wear that T-shirt.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Nice.
If it vents, it dents.
That was frame Reich. I'm gonna go with frame Reich or frame
Frame
Rick
Reich?
on that one.
Yeah,
When it
that's a
starts
good
to
one.
vent, look for the dent. Oh, but look, wait, did the dents go back out? Like the dents are gone again?
Wow.
I think so. You know something? I will rampant opinion warning on the screen. I wonder about the longevity of the Starship structure with that sort of motion, the tanks denting and undenting. Like, I get it with these vehicles, these test prototypes, no big deal. We know that they pop out and pop in, but I wonder, a reusable Starship that's supposed to be going to orbit and back, I wonder if that's something that they're going to fix or change or something before they actually fly a Starship to orbit. Just from a wondering perspective, you know?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if the 304L stainless steels are moving to with SN8 will have the same denting like we've
Yeah.
seen with SN5. Well, SN4, 5, and 6, really. We've seen that
It's a really
consistently.
good question, Das. And it immediately makes me think of, oh darn it, was it the Lockheed Constellation? There was an airliner with circular windows in the early airliner days, and it caused metal fatigue on the hull as the hull as the fuselage of the aircraft like went through repeated pressurization cycles, and that's why airplane windows are the shape that they are. So yeah, I wonder what the effect of those pressurization cycles will be on the structure of the vehicle. That's a really, really good question.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the early airliner days where they had square windows in the fuselage, right?
There you go. Okay,
And
square windows. Thank you.
It used to be that they didn't fly high enough, so they didn't have to pressurize the plane. If you're in a commercial airliner these days, that commercial airliner flies high enough that you want to have the cabin pressurized so that you have enough oxygen to breathe, right? You'd be cold, and you wouldn't be able to breathe very well if the airliner wasn't pressurized at today's flight altitudes. But back in the day, you're tooling around on a DC-10 or whatever, and their max ceiling was not high enough that you'd really need or not their max ceiling, but their normal operating ceiling really wasn't up where you would need it to be pressurized. You could run oxygen masks or whatever. But once they started getting into aircraft that needed to be pressurized so that they could fly higher, that's when those square windows started to become weak points, I guess, and they went to the round or oval windows, if I remember correctly.
De Havilland comment or chat hasn't.
There you go.
Everyone's saying it was the Havilland. Yeah, sorry, I'm a dum dum. Thank you for catching me.
Yeah, Framrick. There you go. Thanks for correcting me, Framrick. I always want to try and get it right, but that Y, you never know if that's like a vanity Y or is it like an I sound or an ick sound. But Framrick, we got you.
People are coming up with rhymes still based on if it vents, it dents stuff. Pip pop, down it drops.
We need like the Boca Chica's Farmer Almanac. You know the Farmer Almanac that has all the weather wisdom and stuff?
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
That would be cool if we had like a little desktop calendar that had 365 days of Boca Chica wisdom and sunrises or whatever, you know?
That would be amazing. I'm sure if we just we could get a whole bunch of really good stuff just from Mary and Nomad alone. Basically everything that comes out of Nomad's mouth I wish was on a calendar or something in front of me.
Hey, I have a bit of an update here. The weather system seems to have changed direction down here at Boca Chica. So I'm tracking a big line of thunderstorms approaching Port Isabel right now from the west. I'm going to keep an eye on it because that's the 30, 40. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but we may need to get in touch with Mary and tell her about incoming weather. It's not there yet, but it looks pretty...
Pretty gnar.
Yeah. I'll put it in the back channel so we can see it there, but...
Copy.
We know that this is
safety first.
Yeah, really exposed position out there so that we can get this shot, and if there's a big line of thunderstorms coming through, we don't want Mary to be in that position, so... Yeah. All right. Good deal.
Do we think there's any chance that weather caused the abort?
Um.
I mean, I think it's probably unlikely because
I agree.
they would have, based on what we think, would have been around top of the hour, which means they would have had time to detank and get about to where they are right now. Regardless, but you never know.
While we hang out here and monitor the weather situation, how about we run through a couple more super chats? Steve
I got it.
Meehan. Yo, you got it?
Oh,
Go for it. Yeah, Jack, go for it.
Steve Gann, thanks for the membership. That's awesome. Scott Summers, thanks for the 10 curly L's. He said, does anyone know how high the Starship can get on this planet on its own when finished? I think I can do like point to point, or you need super heavy for that. It's definitely not single stage to orbit, right? I'm not even going to wade into that whole barrel of worm. I'm supposed to be running through these. Sandy AP, thanks for 8 currency units. They say, will Boca Chica be a fully operational launch site, or is it only for testing purposes only? And will their 2 current sites be converted as well? I think our current understanding, Michael, right, is that they're pursuing all 3 options. So
Yeah, Elon.
that may change, but
Elon, I think, has indicated that. Was that in terms of the launch site? Sorry. For
yeah,
Super Heavy?
launch site.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Elon tweeted that they're pursuing 39A, Boca Chica, and launch platforms that are based off of oil rigs in the ocean. So 3 options. We don't know which one's going to happen first, but if I had to place money, probably Boca Chica for the first Super Heavy, given that they are working so hard to construct that launch stand that we've seen. I think what will likely happen is that the one built in Boca Chica will be aimed for speed in terms of speed will be prioritized over longevity. So I think we'll probably see the first prototypes launched at Boca Chica, and then maybe the future other launch sites down the road will have a more robust launch platform built for high launch cadence with Super Heavy, and possibly Super Heavies with more engines, because they might start with fewer engines in Super Heavy than 31 just to keep things more simple, and then hopefully at some point they'll also build a more long duration permanent launch stand in Boca Chica too, because obviously Boca Chica is super awesome and we want to see that place get a lot of action into the future, because look at all this amazing access we can get out here.
And I'm getting those weather radar updates about every 3 minutes here, so it gives me a new radar scan. And I'll let y'all know. But it does look like it's barreling down on Boca Chica.
Oh, sorry, I was supposed to be running through these. Ben H, Ben H with the $5. Bam. I'm trying to get better about showing these as I say them. I'm awful at it, and I apologize. Future, how will SpaceX Starship Cape for actual orbital mission fly? Question mark. Maybe they just end up building it there. I don't know. That's a really good question. Moldy Space, thanks Moldy. Moldy, you're always in here. Moldy and Framrick, which is the next one. Moldy with the $5. Welcome back to our favorite game show. Vent, Dent, or Ascent? Oh my gosh, that's good. That's really good. Vent, Dent, or Ascent. Today, contestants are competing for survival to make humans a multiplanetary species. Let's see. Framrick, thank you for the 5 curly L's. Awesome, and Jolly J, thank you for to $10 Australian. Someone in chat was asking earlier how much it costs SpaceX to perform a static fire. Any idea? Dude, I have no idea.
I mean, if you don't, I know for Falcon 9, people, like reporters often ask Elon and whoever, how much does it cost when you have to scrub a launch? And I think SpaceX has said a couple of $100,000, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not much money in terms of a launch cost for a rocket. So presumably it's something similar for Starship, but that does not include like the hardware. That's just only propellant. And perhaps that methane recondensing system also lowers cost because you don't have to bring in new methane as often. But I'm pretty sure Elon has not given exact numbers for Starship, only Falcon 9. And then Cole Logan, thank you for the stream. Cole says, we appreciate the support.
Dougal asked, do you think SpaceX will keep the serial number going for Super Heavy and Starship, or eventually go to Block 1, Block 2, etc.? I don't think they'll do the block thing, right? Because I think it's known that Elon doesn't like the whole block. In the same way that they didn't like the mark, which is why we switched to serial numbers. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michael.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting, but that they have so many different naming conventions. But I'm not sure if we heard an exact reason, but I think the blocks though are more for like versions of the overall design, and the serial numbers are just like individual prototype numbers. So
Yep.
you could see like serial number 5 is part of block 1 or something in the future, as the design evolves. But for now, they just call Starship solely by their serial numbers because they are changing so rapidly. So there's no like consistent design yet between them. But perhaps once the design gets more consistent and you have like 10 Starships in a row that all are very similar, those might be designated Block 1 or something. We'll see.
I'm interested to see what happens when we start getting Super Heavies on site, because no longer, I mean, we already have Raptor SN and then digits, and then we have Starship SN and digits, and then we're going to have Super Heavy SN digits. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty rapid that people will shorten it all to like SHSN #, SSSN pound. You know what I mean? It's like it's going to be a lot of S's and acronym. But yeah, I mean, I wonder if it would just be like Super Heavy 1, Super Heavy 2, Super Heavy 3, Super Heavy 4, Super Heavy number 1. I don't know. I'm curious what their nomenclature will end up being. I'm just excited for when we get full up vehicles and start naming them with actual, because I think it's been said that they're going to do that at some point. That'll be. I just like the idea of having like nose art on a Starship. Again, they haven't said anything about, but nose art and like we would have on an old B-52 bomber or something. That would just look so cool. But who knows? Good question, Dougal.
Yeah, and Jack, we're doing a detailed assessment of the weather. That dark clouds are getting closer and closer to Mary's position here, and like we said, she's in an elevated location, and I'm getting a little bit concerned about the weather down there. So
copy. Yeah, we can.
Back channel.
Okay, we can wrap this up obviously at a moment's notice. If we obviously it'll take Mary some time to break down, but I mean we can stop at any time. Safety first. We do not mess around with that kind of stuff. Nothing is worth.
I'll get it on screen here, Jack. I'm going to get it on screen so we can show people the weather we're tracking. Stand by.
Excellent.
We have that capability because we are fancy.
Okay, she says in chat that she's hearing thunder. So I would say this.
We're going to call this because it's going to be based on what we've seen before with static fires. When they do stand down, it takes a couple of hours to restart. So we will take a break. Once we see activity again, if the thunderstorms have passed, of course, presumably they will by the time they recycle, we will come back live. So if you've not already, just subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and when we go live for the next attempt, you will get that in your on your phone notifications or in your YouTube subscription box.
Yeah. Michael, do you want to, the presentation layer should be online if you want to show that real quick?
I will put it up.
And it should just be picture in picture if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I'm not getting video though. I might have to refresh the cache for a second.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm not seeing anything. It's being displayed right now. There's just nothing.
Yeah, interesting. I'll give it about 10 seconds, and if it's not resolved by then, we won't worry about it. But
Okay.
I'm just going to pull up the feed.
Up now I see a loading icon.
Yeah, it's loading. We'll see what it is. I'm getting the feed on my end. I'm not sure why that isn't, but let's not sweat it. I mean, we want to get Mary off that roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, I'll put it in Discord or something, show people what we're doing. But instead of trying to troubleshoot that, let's get Mary off the roof.
Yep, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So, wanted you to sign off, Joss, quickly?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, folks, as the update, we are seeing some not good weather approaching the area. Mary is actually up on a roof right now, and she's in an exposed position. We do not want her up there. Gear, I don't really care about the gear, but I don't want Mary up there. So we're going to try to get Mary down off the roof and get her inside the house where it's safe. It looks like they've recycled. It looks like we've got a bit of time here. We're going to continue to monitor the situation, but for now, we're going to shut down the live stream to get Mary to a safe location. I'm not going to run on my mouth on and on about it so we can get her down. But for now, thank y'all so much for joining us. Be looking. If they do this static fire today, we're going to try to get video of it unless they do it in the middle of a downpour. But for now, this is NASA spaceflight team, Mary, Boca Chica gal out there. We want to get her inside, down off the roof, and into a safer
control
location.
center quickly, please.
Okay, stand by. I'm hopping over.
We have held the sequence.
Okay, all right. We've held Mary, our truth on the ground. She's the person who's there, and Mary thinks the latest update that it's gonna miss her, so she wants to stay out there. It looks like. Yeah, we aborted the stream abort at T-2 seconds, like right before I was about to say we were going. Always feel free to jump in like that because I was sort of speed running that. Hey, 100% Mary's call. If she is confident that weather is going to miss her, that's her call. Yeah.
Yeah, Mary's the boss. It's her call.
I'm gonna get another weather map here in 3 seconds. So let me download.
I'm watching. I have the satellite lightning up. There is no lightning activity. Oh, okay. There's now just I was saying that there were 2 lightning strikes near Port Isabel. That's still, like 10 miles, 12 miles away, but there is lightning getting closer.
Yeah, I'm getting the weather map here as well, but there's a huge cell over Bayview right now.
Again, this is still like 10 miles away. If it was closer, we would be quicker, but we're still making a determination of where it's going.
She says clear skies over SPI.
Yeah, to the north is nice and clear looking, but it's due west right now, moving to the east-southeast. So let me
Yeah, I know we're discussing this. If it was an imminent danger, we would obviously get Mary off the roof. But it is at the point. It's like borderline. Should we start thinking about taking action right now? It's not urgent action needed. This is still over 10 miles away.
Yeah, I think
the big cell.
Nervous.
Yeah, the big cell is less
like,
than 4 miles away right now. So there's a massive cell directly to her east, and it is 3.9 nautical miles away from her. So I mean, it's close. It all comes down to the direction. Michael, try to refresh the picture-in-picture again right quick, if you could.
Okay.
I reset everything on my end.
I wonder if I have the wrong URL or something.
I'll paste it up in a DM.
I'm checking on my computer right now too.
Yeah. But that way I can at least animate what I'm eyeballing here.
I think it was 1 second. Yeah, it was the wrong URL. I got it now.
Aha, good deal.
Okay, here it goes.
Yeah, we're working on putting it on screen here, y'all. Stand
There
by.
you go.
There's what we've got. So we'll leave it in picture, but that big cell right there is what I'm mostly concerned about. Remember, I'm not a meteorologist, but this cell right here is about 4 nautical miles away from Mary. This is Boca Chica Village. The little dot right there is Boca Chica Village, and this distance is 4 nautical miles in there. And it looks like a guy with a monocle on. But I've been watching this cell, and I can step it back and forwards. Just a couple minutes ago, it was over here. It had been a little bit further away, and I saw it start to approach Boca Chica. So as I step through here, you can
Gosh,
see
you're
it gets
super
closer.
quiet.
There you go. How's that? Is that better?
Yes, that fixed it.
All right. Sorry. I don't even know how you could hear me, but now it's fixed. So that is the cell that I was looking at there. And if we go all the way to the end of the latest update, that distance right there is about 4 nautical miles between, that's Boca Chica Village right here, Boca Chica Village. And then this is the cell that I'm concerned about. So again, it may turn south, but the newsroom weather radar that we use shows the general motion of the storm or of the system. And the general motion shows it going right at Boca Chica. Of course, an hour ago, the general motion was up in this direction. So that's what we were looking at an hour ago. And a couple different systems sort of collided together, I guess. And that's what they look like they're doing. But I'll animate it real quick. And this is what we've been seeing. Yeah, so y'all, I actually had my mic soft muted there. So thanks for yelling that out. There you can see it start to jump in that area. So was it motion or did it just bubble up over there? I'm not a meteorologist. I just don't want Mary to get drenched or hit by a lightning strike. Clearly. I'm gonna make that red dot a little bit bigger. That's the position right there.
You can hear the wind picking up on their microphone right now.
Yep. I'm gonna flip back and forth here. I mean, the big cell. Look, I don't know all the right terminology, y'all, but the big red part that I was concerned about right here seems to have stalled out for the last 15 minutes. So right in there, that seems to have stayed in one location for the last 15 minutes before it was sort of marching straight towards that red dot, but it's just sort of stalled out there. So, I mean, Mary called it. Mary looked over there and said, oh, it doesn't look like it's coming this way, but that's what I'm looking at right there. Boiled up at about 1:25. That's my time here. So that is 15 minutes, and it stayed stationary there for the last 2 updates. There's not like, can I get in trouble for practicing meteorology without a license or something? Do you have to have a certificate or something to comment on weather radar? I mean, I don't know, like... Just the long and short of it is, whatever I'm seeing here, Mary is the one who's out there, and I can't force her to get off the roof. I can just report on what I observe here, and it is 100% her decision. She is in charge of herself there, so it is we 100% rely on her for the ground truth. You know, I say ground truth all the time. Is she is, I mean, not really boots on the ground. I guess she's boots on the roof at this time, but you know, she is the one who knows. She's forgotten more about Boca Chica than anyone watching this chat has ever known. Let's put it that way.
It's
the
true.
Boca Chica storm chaser.
Moldy Space in our Discord says, if the weather threatens a vent, don't forget vent dent.
Vent back to Dent.
Yeah. Solid. Bird. Solid.
Okay, and Mary says she is able to go inside where she is right now, so that helps. There we go.
Gotcha.
So Mary has very easy access to shelter right now, and she will take shelter if she needs to.
All right, so let's run through some things. How about now that we're back up and running again, and briefly aborted the abort there. Scrub the scrub. Yeah, dog, I heard you like aborts.
Yeah, the main thing, of course, is that if it's going to rain, Mary needs to be able to move the camera. So right now, it looks like the rain is not an imminent threat. It's more of the lightning that we're afraid of. So if Mary can just go inside nearby and leave the camera out, that does work.
Yeah, strike all the cameras with lightning. I don't care.
Yeah,
Strike Mary with
cameras,
lightning.
whatever.
No.
Sorry about the
Jerwa
dot in the middle of the screen there.
Jerwa in chat. I like my al dente.
Al dente. Oh my gosh, really?
That was a good one. Come on.
You need one of those things. All right. So art of a stainless steel starship, like sort of hand-drawn art, and then out of the top there's like pasta, and it's like, I like my tanks al dente or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Any artists?
Yeah, countdown till Mark messages us that in Discord, an actual image of that on it. Good stuff. Tree Boom Boom Trey Boom Boom says, crazy question. Do you think it would be possible to create a starship? Starship Heavy with 2 strap-on Starship boosters. And thanks for the $5 super chat, Trey. Possible? Yeah. Would they ever do it? Probably not. I think they've said that that's not the route they would go. They would just go with a larger diameter vehicle, right? Union Film says, I like trains. Me too. Who doesn't like trains? And Kazmaster says, I suddenly feel extremely. I opened up a little bit too. But I do. I like Chaz Masters. Again, $5. They say I can't wait for first Starship Endeavor. I wonder if they'll call it Starship Endeavor, or if starships will just end up getting wackier names, like from the Culture series or something. I would love Starship Don't Blow Up. If SpaceX ever did like a naming contest or whatever, where like they got to, name a starship, I would totally submit Don't Blow Up.
Michael, can we go to the clean lower third right now? Mary is reporting some activity at the roadblock.
Yeah, I see that.
Yep, there you go. All right, folks. So the bottom of your screen, you can see vehicles returning to the pad right now. There's the disco party car in the back. Looks like a Tesla and a white truck going up that way. So that is probably a pretty good call in terms of shutting down the stream. Once they return to the pad like that, the pad is no longer clear. The road is still closed, I believe, but the pad is no longer clear, meaning that we would be in for the duration on this. I am going to say it looks like Mary was right about that weather radar. I think that storm is going to end up missing them there. So like I said, she's the one who knows, but the latest weather update shows that storm is staying over to the west of her and not progressing towards her. So since the cars are returning to the pad, Michael, Jack, I think that's our sign to call this a stream for now, isn't it?
Yep, we'll wait and see, and if they clear the pad again and activity ramps up, we can just start another stream. But I think for now, we'll let Mary get inside, get some lunch, and we'll all take a break.
You know how it goes, y'all. If you don't want to miss whatever happens later today with the SN6 static fire down at Boca Chica that we're trying to observe, follow the channel, click on follow. There's a little bell icon. You can turn it on. You can set it to all notifications to make sure that later today, YouTube willing and the creek don't rise, you get a notification saying that we are back live. Also, follow us on Twitter. I'm just going to roll with @NASASpaceflight for now. Follow twitter.com/@NASASpaceflight. And we'll put that link into chat. If you follow that, that is Crispy Actual, the guy in charge. And when the stream comes up, you can turn on notifications for Chris, and you will see that link there as well. Also, if you're a member in the Discord, you can hop over, and we've got, we usually post up in the Discord as well when we go live. But multiple different ways that you can make sure that you don't miss whatever happens. But for now, the NASA Spaceflight team is going to be signing off. Let's get Mary back inside and get this equipment stowed away. Anything else, y'all? Are we good to go there?
Sounds good to me.
All righty. So, again, NASA Spaceflight team, I'm John Galloway with NASA Spaceflight. The voice you just heard was Jack Beyer. Also with NASA Spaceflight, Michael Baylor in the back end. And then Mary, we're getting her inside because she is the one out there bringing us these live streams. But we're shutting her down, and we will see you nerds later. Thanks for joining us today, and hopefully we see a little bit of activity later. That's a lot of cars going that way. So, go get some lunch, take a nap, something like that. We'll be back. Whoa, it melted. I think we're clear, Michael. Go ahead and roll it. Propulsion continues to be normal.
Your chamber pressure looks good. Following up. Roger, roll, Atlantic.
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.